correlation, causation, confusion. So two things are associated. As one goes up, the other goes up, or maybe as one goes up, the other goes down. And assuming that because they increase or decrease along with each other in some direction, that there must be some sort of causal relationship between the two. There are a variety of alternate possibilities or explanations, and pointing out those alternative possibilities or explanations could problematize the argument, meaning that they could weaken the argument, and simply describing those possibilities could be showing how that argument is flawed or potentially flawed in some way. So it could simply be a coincidence, could be a random association, or there could be a third variable causing both, or the causal relationship could be reversed. And we don't always know. You don't have to know the answer or the reason why it's flawed or potentially problematic. You simply have to point out those possibilities, and that is often enough. So here's one where it could simply be a coincidence. Maybe not. This is just a joke from a comic I like. So it could be a coincidence. That's one possibility. I'm not going to describe the joke, because describing jokes is just lame. But here's another one. It could also be a coincidence here if there's these two things that basically have no obvious relationship at all, where we have newspaper sales and movie scores and such. Total coincidence. What do newspaper ad sales have to do with a movie? It's total coincidence. No obvious relationship in one way or the other. Now this one also, temperature, number of pirates, they're increasing in tandem, but again, no obvious relationship there. You'd really be stretching to try and find a connection between those two things. Just again, to illustrate that things can increase side by side at the same general rate with no obvious connection. Most likely solution is simply, it's coincidence, it's random. If you look at enough things, you'll probably be able to draw a connection between two of them. And we're, again, selection bias, you're ignoring all the things that don't correlate with that. Like temperature and number of pirates could go hand in hand together, but number of people taking the LSAT might not be increasing at the same rate, because not everything's related, not everything goes up or down at the same time. Now here's one common example: ice cream sales and murders both increase over the same period. What's one possible explanation of this? A third variable that could explain both of those. Some of you may have come across this before.
Stress eating?
Stress eating, yeah, cool. If you're stressed about the murders, you might buy more ice cream, or you're stressed, you murder people, and you buy more ice cream.
Ice cream trucks and killing people.
Yeah, ice cream trucks are driving into people, right? So that would be if one is causing the other, totally possible also. But I think the biggest one, I'll give anyone else who wants to share their thoughts before I share my thoughts.
Temperature.
Temperature, yeah, we got a couple people saying temperature. That's absolutely correct. That's most commonly given as the reason for both of these things. So obviously, as it gets hotter out, people buy more ice cream. Also, people get more angry. Their temperature, their personal tempers are more sensitive, and so they explode more. And so that's said to be the third variable causing both of these. But ice cream sales and murders don't necessarily relate directly to each other. One is not causing the other. That third external factor, not even mentioned, could be the actual cause and is maybe the most likely cause. Now, here's another one. We have the cigarette consumption and the price of cigarettes. And so people might say the causality is in one direction, when in reality, it's in the other direction. So maybe as cigarette consumption decreased, they had to raise the price per pack to make the same profits. Or maybe as you raise the price, cigarette consumption drops because of supply and demand. So the causality could potentially go in either direction. Obviously, it's super complicated, especially if you're factoring in taxes, and taxes vary by state. And maybe cigarette demand is somewhat inelastic, meaning that it's not sensitive to price because people are addicted. So a variety of potential explanations there, but it's not completely obvious that the causality is only in one direction. I don't want to get too mired in the specifics here, because the bottom line, the point I'm raising here is simply that causality could be reversed, not necessarily one way. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.